Okay, I've got the old anamorphic lens out to have a little walk around. Some of you may recognise this spot from the Richmond Park video.
So what we have here is a 2014 Shiv comp frame, which has had the horrible light and dark blue lines that came on the frame removed by using some gloss black 3M vinyl. And then pretty much everything else has been removed as well, apart from possibly the stem and one of the brakes and the seat post and the water mount.
The wheels originally had 808s front and back, and then I put a 404 on the front and prefer it, to be honest. So it was converted one by, part of the reason I came to do the 3T thing. It's got a short cage rival rear derailleur, which is all I really needed. What I really want to get rid of, and the main reason for going one by, is on a triathlon bike. This gear isn't indexed, and so you're constantly adjusting the front derailleur when you change between the gears, which is annoying.
As you always want to have one hand grasping the extensions properly in case you get a gust of wind, and you never want to be messing around adjusting your front derailleur anyway. The Shiv comp came 10 speed and I've left it 10 speed, except I've added this lovely
oversized sprocket on, but short of that is rival 10 speed. Had a lot of trouble convincing various shops to install rival with the SRAM road shifters, but with SRAM they are using the same, they use exactly the same ratio, so that's all good. Don't really want to see what state the water is in there that's been left since 2018. But that's a 48 oval ring on the upgraded. So I upgraded it to the Specialized crank, which is very nice. You can see that is a hollow billet 1136. Now I did a pretty steep triathlon on this. It's I upgraded the saddle as well to the Citaro. That was an amazingly comfortable saddle until I got the power, and then suddenly I'd go and get this from the power and go, ooh. So yeah, I put the zipp bars.
I upgraded to the zipp vuka bars with the 40mm drop when the original Specialized aluminium ones that came with it were recalled.
Kind of going very fast, but yeah, so I put the zipp vuka aluminium, those are the carbon bars. You can in theory run these without tape, but there's no way a normal person would run those without tape, especially if you sweat a lot like I do. You can see those pedals normally had XDR pedals on. I've just put those on because I'd forgotten the pedals. So this is the brake that comes with the Shiv comp. I don't know if you can see how I have covered over, sometimes not very well, the decals, which are kind of a pretty garish blue, but I don't know if you can see there's a stripe there and a stripe there, but it comes out really nice and black. I almost went for the full stealth, but I kind of like this. I have the amazing Omega brake on now. The sun's come out. Let's go for a proper walk around. Those brakes are a game changer. However, I have to admit to you, when it started raining in the half Ironman of Weymouth, I really was not looking forward to carbon rim brakes, and that was part of the reason I sort of made a decision there and then. That was the last time I was going to do carbon rim brakes. Okay, this is rutting season, so I don't know if you picked that up in the audio, but there are some rather randy stags around. But that is a good looking bike. It's a very fast bike. So yeah, I put the Deader. These are actually sort of bars that you'd normally put on an aero bike, sorry, on a race bike to make them aero. I drilled, I think here or underneath there is a place where you can drill to put the cable. This is I think the Specialized bar ends that came for God knows what. Still got the original brakes, which are brake levers, which are lovely. Now on the 808 back, now I have used even, so the 404 I found is too it's too deep sometimes. What was ideal was a 35. Now I didn't get round to getting a 35 on the front, and it does look a bit weird when you're running a 35.
So the 404 is 60 millimeters deep and sometimes is affected by crosswinds. The 35 is virtually never affected by crosswinds. It's still very aero, and that's why you see a lot of pros in Kona using it. Still goes up hills very quickly, and they either have a disc or an 808 like I've got on the back. You can see some 50 millimeter zip risers there.
Specialized stem in there. I bought in the US because you can't buy it here. There's a nice bit of rust there from the sweat from the Ironman. But I bought this. This is the Ant Plus one that I bought once in the US, hoping that that would show me my details in a very low footprint sort of a manner. And it's got this Bluetooth and Ant Plus cadence, but I never really got it to pair properly. Have a look. The Citaro, yeah, I just put the single. I've had a single and a double out back, but at the end of the day, I never really carry more than one water. I've never gone long. I've only ever done half Ironmans, not because the bike is too short, is too long, but mainly because running a marathon is too long for me. So the 808s have 4,000 Grand Prix S2s on, in a 25 on the back. On the front I prefer a 23, and this I even did, it was a very not a great triathlon to have a 23 on the front. The Weymouth, it's quite rough in places. Some places were actually off-road, but so even though those Contis are a race tyre, they do have a Victron breaker, and they've never punctured on me. So let's go and get this fast lap done. We are going to not go along here, but back there is the cafe, Pen Ponds Cafe, and there is a road that goes all the way to Ham, back to the Pen Ponds Cafe, and then down to, I think it's Kingston Gate or Stag Lodge Gate, whatever gate it is, and that is a sequence. So we're going to go from right over there to here and then down, and it's going to be quite a nice quite a nice ride. So let's get on with it. I hope you enjoyed the little walk around. I really enjoyed this. What would I change? I probably would make it 11 speed now. Definitely go XD on the back to get a 9 cassette, a 9 cog. but then you'd have a much heavier, lovely sound, then you'd have a much heavier cassette. This is pretty light as aero bikes go, and that's probably one of the main reasons that you want to go one by on an aero bike, especially with that carbon crank. But I suppose one of the other things to say is that, so I kind of like to get I have the bars quite low, and these vukas are actually quite low still, but I can manage that. They're the same height as my road drops. Now if you were kind of doing a long race, but I mean if I'm racing, I wanted to have that where the drops are and this where the aero bars are, and the only way to do that was to put the 50 extensions on, and that worked really well for me. I was not uncomfortable at all in the half Ironman, despite being horribly undertrained. Just to show you exactly how straight off the race this is, we have 2 light tyre levers I've been looking ages for. And some patches stuck in here. What have we got in there? And the tube. Right. For race speed, we're going to take these out, give it the best chance. So without the anamorphic lens, I thought I'd just give you a quick overview of how sort of badly I kind of bodged up the... I'm no expert in putting on vinyl at all, but it worked really well, and I like the fact that, for example here, it really protects the leading edge. But here, I mean, look, I just kind of put them on as best I could. You can see here as well, but it works. I mean, the bike looks $1 million compared to the funky blue stripes of the original, which I'll cut to a picture too. Right, let's go and get this done. This bike done.